What's up with it, man? Y'all, man. Today I want to give you something like real exclusive. I want to tap in. I want to tone in and kind of hit home. With this one here, it's different. It's unique. I'm bringing something different to the table today. On this episode, um, I had the opportunity. Well, I was actually invited out to be a guest speaker for the Men of Nehemiah um, city worship. It was a game changer. It was eye opening. I've been doing this speaking, um, this going out and telling my testimony for a while. It actually started back, I want to say in 2006, um, where I was a part of a program called Youth Build Dallas, and that was actually my first time actually going out speaking. Nervous. To this day, I still get nervous, but nervous. But was brought on stage and was asked to tell my testimony. And so in this video, this podcast, I want to share my latest speaking engagement with you all. Is to get some feedback. Tell me what you think. Tell me if it resonated with you. Um, if you took away anything from it. Um, it's a big deal to me. And you know, any feedback is good feedback. It's your boy T Real, man. I'm out here just doing my thing, man. Too Real to Be Fake Podcast TV, man. Like, please believe me, straight up and down, man. Y'all tap in, tune out. Here goes the video. Check it out. For inviting me, appreciate all you brothers for having me. Man, this is. I gotta come early to you, man. There you go. Oh man, I had something for that's out the door. Hearing these testimonies, hearing my brother Josh again, I can relate. First of all, my name is Montrel Powell. I'm a self-published storyteller. Most people would say author. I say storyteller, and that goes back to my days being locked up, incarcerated. And if you know, you know. When you rack them doors, we had a term we called ride. We gonna ride. We gonna try to get out into the free world. So I related that to my book writing, storytelling. I try to put my readers there. I'm also an inspirational speaker. I don't say motivational. I believe motivation comes from within. I'm here to inspire you. And so that's the reason why I consider myself an inspirational speaker. I'm also a content creator, podcast creator, a brand creator, Too Real to Be Fake. And I built this brand, created this brand for people like me and you all. And it goes back to my book writing. In my books, I kind of created this character to fit in, to be accepted. And that character ended up getting me in a lot of trouble. But I get into that. Like Josh said, I met him at the Brotherhood Bible Fellowship. That's what brings me here today. And me and Josh, we were fellowship about a lot of days in the office about the situations he was going through, situations I was going through. He didn't even know it. It was some days, I'm talking to him, he don't even know he encouraging me. And many of those days, fellowship with Josh, I wouldn't do. I'd give anything to fellowship with him again. I really didn't talk to nobody besides Josh when it came to my background because I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want I didn't want my image to be tainted, and so I felt like me and Josh was one of the same, and he understood me. But let me go back. So before Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, I worked at an organization called Youth Build Dallas for about 9 years. And there, I worked with individual 16 to 24 that was at risk. But that also was a blessing because I was one of those students before I worked there. Let me go back before I got to UPL Dallas. I'm from West Dallas, grew up in Oak Cliff, went to Carter High School. Wyatt Carter, I was in the band, smart, came from a good household, single parent household. My mom, she's actually here right there. That's my mom. At times she worked multiple jobs, and so as you know, that they gave us free range to, be out after hours or whatever. I decided, the life I was given wasn't good enough for me, and back when I was coming up, we really didn't have gangs, we had cliques, and I decided I wanted to be part of the so-called clique. And began this image to fit in with this so-called clique, not knowing the road that so-called clique was going to lead me down. And
take your time, it's all right.
God is good, boy.
It's all right.
Testify of His goodness.
It's all right.
Got it, brother.
Too real to be fake, huh?
So, your mom would always tell you, trouble, easy to get into and hard to get out. And I didn't realize what she meant until I got the knock at the door. So this clique I was in, we wanted to run around, chase the girls, get out the girls, money, nice cars, and we decided we wanted to go around and ride. Didn't really have a reason. I don't know why, but that's what we decided we wanted to do. And eventually it caught up with us one by one. I can remember the first guy, he was 17. They got him. My mom actually called me and said she seen him getting arrested. The second guy, his brother, they got him. The third guy, they got him. I was the last one they got. And eventually we all was locked up. Appreciate it. We all was locked up, fighting our cases. And I can just remember one by one, they was taking us down. The first guy, 17, they gave him 45 plus 50. The second guy, they gave him 50. The third guy, they gave him 38. They offered me 50. I'm 20 years old at the time. They offered me 50. And I pretty much threw towel in. I'm like, it's over. Didn't even try to fight. But what I didn't realize is that I had people behind me that the Lord was putting in places fighting my fight. And so I end up in I'm trying to. I had some, but I'm skimming. I'm trying to give it to y'all quick as I can. And so I got moved from Wisteria, go to the governor's son. Back then they called it the House of Pain. And I'm 20. I'm scared out of my mind. The doors like bank vaults when they close in there. It ain't no getting out. So I spent 8 months in the governor's son. I ended up having to fight behind the TV. Get stabbed in my head behind the TV. Got stabbed in my head, and my lawyer which was Heath Harris at the time. He ended up using that incident to get me a PR bond to get me out. He said my life was in danger, but he used that to get me out. And so he got me out. While I'm out, I got an ankle monitor on. I'm reporting, every week to a guy named Officer Sean Jackson. And when I would report this Officer Jackson, he would always make me read. I would come in his office, and he would have a book, newspaper, and I'm like, man. And he would get up and walk, leave for about an hour. And I'm like, man, what's wrong with this dude, man? I'm trying to be in now. I got stuff to do. And so, one day I'm in his office, and he had a newspaper article, and I read it. And when he came back, he asked me, what did I read? And so I asked him, like, what's this? It was an article about a youth program called Youth Build Dallas. And so we started, conversing on this article, and he told me, son, I'm not calling you, you're dumb, but you would be a fool not to go see what this program is about. And so I'm still out in bond. I'm still out on bond. I still got a court case pending. I'm still fighting for 50 years. I'm still fighting. And so I ended up going to this program, Youth Build Dallas. Officer Simpson Stewart and Brotherhood. I go, join the program, and at the time I was just going because I wanted to get out of the house and ankle monitor. But let me tell you, at this program, I met some angels. When I walked through the door, I remember the director. She had her arms open, like she had been waiting on me, and welcomed me. And I remember going across the street to the classroom and seeing other individuals with monitors on that looked just like me, and they didn't judge me. So I'm going through this program, and I remember she called me to her office and said, "Baby, we want to put you on a plane and send you to Washington, D.C. to represent the program, your fellow students, classmates, the organization in Dallas." And I'm amazed. I'd never been out the country. I don't know. But she did. And her doing that, it helped me find my voice. I was quiet. I'm worried about this court case. But behind closed doors, Ms. Mays and the rest of the staff, they was working. They like I said, I threw in the towel. I gave up. I was working. And so I went to DC, came back, and my case had come up. It's time for me to go to court. Well, no, it's not time for me to go to court. I'm trying to go to court to I can't even remember, but I went, and my mom was there, and I hadn't seen my mom like in a year. Outside the glass, and she was literally standing like right here. And my mom, she wore a white diamonds perfume. I could smell it, but I couldn't touch it. I couldn't hug her. And that, broke me down. It broke me down, and that's when I realized I had to fight. I had to fight. I didn't have a relationship with the Lord. But after that, I remember going home, calling my mom, getting out, calling my mom, and talking to her. She was telling me, baby, you have to pray. You have to pray. You have to talk to him. And so I'm in the room, I go get a picture she had, I get the Bible, light a candle, and I get there and I start praying, I start talking. Because in my mind, I'm like, out of all the people in the world, he's not gonna care about little old me. And so I just wanted a sign. I wanted to know that he heard me. And so I started talking. I started calling him.
Yeah. Come on, baby.
I got hot. And I felt something rubbing me. It felt like a father hugging his son.
Yeah. Come on.
And it scared me. I jumped up and I ran, took all my clothes off, got in the shower. I called my mom. And she said, babe, that was him.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
She said that was him. That's the sign he's showing you. I still really didn't understand. About maybe a month went by, and it was time for me to go back to court. And so this is 2 years after I've been out. It's time for me to go back to court. I remember walking as well. I really don't. I remember everything was muffled. The room was spinning. I couldn't hear. I really couldn't see. I remember walking in the courtroom. There was some people sitting to the right. I didn't know they was praying. They was praying for me. I didn't know really they was praying for me. I remember going to stand on this X in front of the judge. The judge never looked up at me. And I just remember seeing his presence in the courtroom, seeing him in the DA. You know, the DA wasn't even doing his job. He wasn't even prosecuting me. He was pretty much thanking me and you know, telling me they had all the stuff I had did from the program, got my GED, my construction certification, forklift license, had been to DC, had met with Elvin Johnson. She had wrote me a letter, you know, a recommendation on, you know, pleading for me, you know, not to be locked up for 50 years. And so the judge never looked up at me. He was just looking at this file in front of him now without everything I had done. But I remember the DA, to me, it was him jumping in the DA. And my lawyer at the time, he had became assistant to Craig Watkins, and so he couldn't represent me. Eve Harris, he had to come off my case, but he referred me to the Jackson Law Firm. And from the Jackson Law Firm, they referred me to Kobe Warren. And so when I did go to court this day, I'm up there with all three of my lawyers. Eve Harris, he's behind the stand. He can't be up there with me, but the Lord is still working through them all. He's telling Eve Harris what to tell this lawyer. He's telling this lawyer, is telling this lawyer. And I'm standing on his eggs. And I just remember seeing him jumping in and out of the lawyer, the DA, and when it was all said and done, he jumped in the judge. The judge, he finally looked up. The whole time he was looking down, and it felt like up, but he was looking down, and he finally, is that done now? I still was considered a convicted felon, but I had to go back and you know, get my TDC number. But the judge actually allowed me to go home for a week, which they normally don't do. He allowed me to go home for a week, be with my family, and told me to, you know, turn yourself back in on July 20th before midnight. July 20th was my big brother's birthday. So I turned myself in at 11:59. and I turned myself in at 11:59. And even in that case, I remember walking out. It was raining all day. Frank Crowley, raining all day. And when I came out, Frank Crowley, at the top of those stairs, it stopped raining. The clouds parted, and like the sun rays came down and hit me. And that's when I went home for a week. And after turning myself back in, coming back, they told me you only be here 30, 45 days. I think I was in there about 90 days, and finally at the church I was in, and my mom, and you know, they calling down to Huntsville, and finally they got a hold of the warden, and the warden said, his file is on my desk. I'm looking at his file right now. I'm going to push it. He's going to be released as soon as I, you know, push it. I'm in visitation. And the lady come open my door and say your visit over with. I'm mad. Because I just got out there. I'm mad. And I'm like, nah, I just got out here. She closed the door back. She come back. You don't want to go home? I'm like, I think she talking about to myself. I'm like, and she said, pal, you're going home. And, yeah. And it's been up ever since. It was 2 years, but the 2 years felt like 20 to me. It scared me straight. And I went back. I actually went back. The program I went through, they actually called me to come work when I got out, and I ended up working there for 9 years as a mentor, construction trainer. And I would go to DC every year to speak, and you know, try to ask for additional funding to fund other youth programs. I'm now at Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship supervisor there. I've been there 10 years, and that's where I'm excited. I've been there 10 years. I'm a father. You know, people often ask me if I could do it all over, would I change anything? And my answer is always no, because I wouldn't have the people that's in my life today. I wouldn't have, that's my wife. I wouldn't have my wife. I wouldn't have my kids. I wouldn't be here today. So I don't take nothing for granted. My brand is built off faith. It's built off integrity. It's built out being truthful. You know, living in the truth, walking in the truth. And that's what I had to do. You know, I was trying to be somebody cool and fit in, and that almost, you know, got me in a lot of trouble. You know, but I'm here, and I thank God for pulling me out, you know, when He did. And I also realized that He put me in that situation because He knew I could handle it, and He had to. Because if He hadn't, I'd probably be dead or in prison. That's it for me. I'm glad y'all had me here. I had some, but you know, yeah, I appreciate it.
So you had a chance to look at the video, and I got some good key takeaways from it. I don't know if you all did. Hopefully you did. I cried. I said I wasn't, but I did, because it comes from a place, a passionate place within me. And each time I tell that story, I tell it different. I never prepare. I never practice. I can remember one time, I went to UTA, and they actually wanted to see like a preparation script, and I had to stand up and tell them, like, I don't prepare, and if this is what you want, I won't be able to tell my story because I tell it from a place within. It's authentic, and that's what my brand is built on, being authentic, living in your truth, walking in your truth. And so each time I tell my testimony, it comes from a different place. I may leave something out that I didn't say the last time. I may say something that I said the last time, but I may go into depth. Um, it's just all really dependent on the moment, the situation. But I hope y'all enjoyed it. Again, like, tap, subscribe. Y'all are tapped into my podcast, Too Real to Be Fake, Too Real with T Real, Too Real to Be Fake Podcast TV. Like, follow, subscribe. More content to come. Appreciate it. I'm out.